close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're standing at the edge of the world, the horizon dissolving into a shimmering haze. A voice, ancient and resonant, calls your name, not from below but from above. Suddenly, you're lifted, carried upward by unseen hands, past the clouds, past the stars, into a realm where the laws of earth unravel. This isn't a dream spun from modern imagination. It's a vision etched into the pages of the Book of Enoch, an ancient text that claims to peel back the curtain of the divine. Welcome to a journey through heaven, not as a vague promise of fluffy clouds and harps, but as a cosmic tapestry of wonder, terror, and indescribable beauty. Today we're stepping into the sandals of Enoch, a man said to have walked with God, to explore what heaven looks like through his eyes, a heaven of 7 layers, each more strange and majestic than the last. A heaven that whispers truths older than time itself. Are you ready? Let's begin. The Book of Enoch isn't your typical scripture written centuries before the time of Jesus. It's a collection of visions attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, a figure the Bible says was so righteous he was taken by God. Scholars call it apocryphal outside the official canon, but its influence ripples through Jewish mysticism, early Christianity, and even the Dead Sea Scrolls. What sets it apart? It's not just a moral guide, it's a cosmic travelogue. Enoch doesn't preach from a mountaintop. He's whisked into the heavens by angels, shown the gears of creation, the prisons of the fallen, and the throne of the Almighty. For ancient readers, this was more than a story. It was a map of the unseen, a glimpse into the architecture of eternity. And for us, it's a chance to see heaven not as a distant reward, but as a living, breathing realm, a place of mystery and awe that defies everything we think we know. Our journey starts where the earth meets the divine, the first heaven. In the Book of Enoch, this isn't a place of golden streets or endless light, not yet. It's a realm of function, a cosmic workshop where the forces that shape our world are born. Picture this. You're standing on a vast plain, the ground beneath you shimmering like glass, reflecting a sky that pulses with soft, silvery light. The air hums with energy, not chaotic but ordered, precise. Around you stretch endless chambers, their walls translucent, glowing faintly as if lit from within. These, Enoch tells us, are the storehouses of the winds, the snow, the hail, the dew. This is where the breath of storms is bottled, where the frost that kisses the morning grass is woven, where the rain that feeds rivers is held until its time. It's not random chance that moves the weather. It's the hand of the divine, working through this first heaven. Enoch writes in chapter 17, "And I saw the places of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars and of the thunder. The luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars, have their own quarters here, their paths set by unseen keepers. Imagine angelic beings, their forms faint and fluid like wisps of mist, drifting through these halls. One adjusts the gust that will sweep across a desert. Another pours dew into a vessel ready to spill over a sleeping forest. Their movements are silent, deliberate, a dance of purpose older than humanity. The winds howl faintly behind crystalline doors, the snow glitters in heaps like diamonds, and the thunder rumbles in the distance, waiting for its moment. It's a heaven that feels alive, a symphony of elements conducted by celestial hands. For the ancient mind, this was revolutionary. Weather wasn't just nature, it was divine will orchestrated from above. The first heaven bridges the gap between the physical and the spiritual, showing that even the mundane is sacred. Mystically, it's mesmerizing, a place where the invisible becomes visible, where the chaos of a storm is tamed into harmony. Picture the scene stretching endlessly, No horizon, just a glowing expanse where creation's raw materials shimmer in perfect balance. The air smells faintly of ozone, crisp and electric, as if a storm is always on the verge of breaking. And yet, there's peace here, a quiet assurance that every gust, every drop serves a purpose beyond our understanding. But this is just the beginning. The first heaven is the foundation, the lowest rung of a ladder that climbs into realms stranger and grander. Enoch doesn't linger here long. The angels beckon him upward, their voices like whispers on the wind. As we follow, the light shifts. The air thickens and the first heaven fades into memory. What lies ahead? A place of shadows, of fallen glory, where the mystical turns dark. Let's ascend together. The second heaven greets us with a stark shift. Gone is the shimmering order of the first. Now, the air grows heavy, the light dims to a sickly gray, and a chill seeps into your bones. This isn't a paradise, it's a prison. Enoch describes it in chapter 18. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire falling. This is the realm of the fallen angels, the watchers, those who defied the divine order and were cast down. Picture a vast cavernous expanse, its edges lost in shadow. The ground is cracked and blackened as if scorched by some ancient wrath. Chains of glowing metal, forged not of earth, but of celestial flame, bind towering figures to the stone. These are no ordinary prisoners. Once radiant, their forms are now faded, their wings tattered, their eyes hollow with a grief that echoes through the void. Who were the watchers? The Book of Enoch tells their tale. Angels sent to guide humanity. They instead fell in love with mortal women, taught forbidden knowledge, secrets of war, magic, and the stars, and sired the Nephilim, giant offspring who ravaged the earth. Their rebellion brought chaos, and their punishment is this second heaven. Imagine their voices low and mournful, rising like a dirge. The text says they're bound until the day of the great judgment, a sentence stretching across millennia. The air crackles with faint sparks, remnants of their lost power, and the columns of fire Enoch saw twist upward like accusing fingers, illuminating their shame. Mystically, this is a realm of paradox, heaven, yet a place of torment, divine, yet steeped in despair. The shadows seem to move as if the walls themselves remember the watcher's fall. The fire doesn't warm, it accuses, its light harsh and unrelenting. For your viewers, paint this as a Gothic tableau, a prison carved from the fabric of eternity, where once mighty beings languish in a silence broken only by their own regret. Educationally, it's a window into ancient cosmology. The second heaven reflects a belief in cosmic justice. Not even angels escape the consequences of defiance. It's a warning etched into the heavens themselves. Obedience holds the universe together. Rebellion tears it apart. As Enoch watches the angels guiding him stand apart, their faces unreadable, the scene lingers, heavy and oppressive, until they motion him onward. The second heaven fades, its shadows swallowed by a growing light. What's next? A place of beauty and terror, where heaven splits into two faces. Let's rise again. Now we reach the third heaven, and the journey takes a breathtaking turn. The darkness lifts, replaced by a golden glow that bathes everything in warmth. Enoch writes in chapter 8, "And there I saw the garden of righteousness." Picture it. A landscape of impossible beauty unfurls before you. Rolling hills bloom with flowers that shimmer like jewels. Ruby reds, sapphire blues, emerald greens, each petal catching the light in a dance of color. Trees tower overhead, their branches heavy with fruit that glows faintly as if infused with life itself. One stands out, the tree of life, its bark silver, its leaves singing softly in a breeze that smells of honey and spice. Rivers wind through the scene, their waters clear as crystal, rippling with a peace that sinks into your soul. This is paradise, a haven for the righteous, a promise kept by the divine. Angels move here too, not as wardens but as gardeners, tending the souls of the just who rest in this eternal spring. The air hums with their presence, a faint melody of joy that feels like a memory you can't quite place. For ancient readers, this was heaven as reward, a place where the faithful find rest, where the struggles of earth dissolve into bliss. Mystically, it's a vision of transcendence. Time slows, the world fades, and all that remains is harmony. Imagine the souls here not as ghostly figures, but as luminous echoes of their earthly selves, laughing, singing, free at last. The light doesn't just shine, it heals, wrapping everything in a glow that feels like love made visible. But then, the scene shifts. Enoch turns, and the third heaven reveals its other face. "And I saw a place of punishment," he says. "A place prepared for those who blaspheme." The air grows hot, the golden light fractures into a harsh red glare. Before you stretches a wasteland of fire and ash, pits of flame that hiss and spit, their heat clawing at the edges of paradise. Chains dangle from unseen heights, holding figures who writhe in torment, their cries swallowed by the roar of the blaze. This isn't random cruelty, it's justice precise and unrelenting. The text names the wicked, those who denied God, who twisted truth, who lived for themselves alone. The contrast is stark. One moment, serenity, the next, suffering, a duality that defines this heaven. For your audience, this split is key. Educationally, it shows how ancient texts saw morality as cosmic. Your choices echo beyond death, shaping your place in their heavens. Mystically, it's a dance of opposites, beauty and dread woven into one realm like two sides of a coin. Picture the edge where paradise meets punishment, a shimmering boundary where the cool mist of the gardens meets the searing heat of the flames, a line no soul can cross. Enoch stands there, awed and silent as the angels explain. This is balance, the divine will made manifest. And then they call him higher still. The ascent quickens now. The third heaven fades, and Enoch enters the higher realms. Some say the fifth or sixth, though the text blurs the lines. The air thrums with power, the light grows blinding, and suddenly you're surrounded by the angelic hosts. These aren't the gentle messengers of Christmas cards. These are beings of raw, radiant might. Enoch describes them in chapter 20. Their faces shone like the sun, and their eyes were like burning lamps. Imagine them, towering figures draped in light, their wings countless and shimmering, each feather a prism of color. Their bodies are covered in ice, hundreds, thousands, blinking and watching, seeing all of creation at once. Their voices rise in a chant, a hymn so vast it shakes the very fabric of this heaven. These are the Grigori, the archangels, the guardians of the divine order. Names like Michael, Gabriel, Uriel echo through the text, each commanding legions of lesser spirits. Picture the scene. A sea of light stretches endlessly, its surface rippling as these beings move in perfect unison. Their song isn't soft, it's thunderous, a cascade of sound that feels like it could crack the sky. "Holy, holy, holy," they cry, an endless refrain to the one above. The ground beneath pulses with their rhythm, a crystalline floor reflecting their brilliance in waves of color. Gold, violet, sapphire. The air smells of incense, sharp and sweet, as if their worship itself perfumes the heavens. Mystically, this is overwhelming. A realm where the divine isn't distant but present, felt in every note, every flash of light. For ancient readers, these angels were the backbone of creation, tireless and eternal. Their praise the heartbeat of the cosmos. Educationally, it's a peek into how the ancients saw the spiritual hierarchy. God at the top, these hosts below, humanity far beneath. Imagine zooming in. One angel turns its gaze piercing, its form shifting like liquid flame. Another lifts a sword of fire, guarding secrets too vast for mortal minds. They don't rest, don't falter, just sing and serve, a celestial machine of devotion. Enoch stands small amid this grandeur, his human frailty dwarfed by their glory. The angels barely notice him. Their focus is upward, toward the final heaven. And that's where we're headed next. The throne itself, the heart of all things. The light intensifies, the song grows louder, and the air trembles with anticipation. Let's climb one last time. We've reached the summit, the seventh heaven, the holiest of holies. The light here isn't just bright, it's alive, a radiance so pure it sears the soul. Enoch describes it in chapter 14. And I looked and saw a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. Picture it. A vast expanse opens before you, boundless and infinite. At its center rises a throne, not of stone or gold, but of fire and crystal. Facets gleaming like 1,000 stars, flames licking its edges without consuming it. Wheels spin beneath it, each a blazing orb, crackling with lightning that arcs into the void. The air hums with electricity, thick with a presence that presses against you, heavy and holy. Around the throne swarm the highest angels, cherubim with wings outstretched, seraphim veiled in light, their 6 wings beating in unison. Their faces were hidden, Enoch says, for none can look upon the great glory. Imagine them, forms of pure energy, their bodies a blur of motion, their countless eyes glowing like embers. Between them dart the 4 living creatures, beasts full of eyes, lion and eagle and man and ox fused into one, their voices roaring praise. The sound is deafening, a chorus that drowns out thought, shaking the crystalline floor until it sings back in harmony. The air smells of burning myrrh, sharp and sacred, as if the very act of being here sanctifies everything. And then, the center, the divine itself. Enoch dares to look, and what he sees defies words. I saw the great glory sitting upon the throne, he writes, and his raiment was brighter than the sun and whiter than any snow. No face, no form, just light, infinite and unyielding, a presence that fills the heaven of heavens. The throne pulses with it, the wheels hum, the angels bow low. Time stops here. The universe holds its breath. Mystically, this is the ultimate vision. Not a place, but an encounter, a moment where the eternal breaks into the finite. The light doesn't just illuminate, it reveals, stripping away all illusion until only truth remains. Educationally, this throne room echoes ancient Jewish and Christian ideas of God's transcendence, beyond comprehension, yet intimately tied to creation. The wheels recall Ezekiel's vision, the living creatures tied to Revelation, showing how Enoch's imagery shaped sacred texts. For your viewers, make it visceral. The heat of the fire, the weight of the glory, the sense that you're standing at the edge of existence. Enoch falls to his knees, overwhelmed as the angels whisper secrets of the cosmos, how the stars were hung, how the earth was forged, how the end will come. This is heaven's heart, where all questions find their answer in a light too vast to hold, And so Enoch's journey ends, not with a farewell, but with a return to earth, his mind ablaze with what he's seen. The Book of Enoch doesn't just describe heaven, it maps a universe alive with meaning. From the storehouses of the first heaven where winds are born, to the prison of the second where fallen angels languish. From the paradise and punishment of the third to the angelic choirs of the higher realms, and finally the throne of the seventh, where God reigns in fire and light. It's a vision both educational and mystical, rooted in ancient belief, yet soaring into the surreal. For those who wrote it, this was truth, a revelation of the divine order, a warning and a hope for us. It's a window into a world long past and maybe a mirror to our own longing for something beyond. The text has been debated, lost, rediscovered, found in fragments in Ethiopia in caves by the Dead Sea, but its power endures. What does it stir in you? Awe at its grandeur, curiosity about its origins, or a shiver at its mysteries? This is just the start. Tell me below, what heaven calls to you. We'll keep exploring the unseen together.